Welcome to the Tattoo Marketing Podcast, where we dive deep into the tattoo industry with the artists, educators, and innovators shaping its future. Today, we're joined by Ray Wiggins, better known as XRay Vizionz, a 16-year tattoo veteran, shop owner, and the author of the new book you can get on Amazon, Make It Pop. From navigating his own tattoo journey and mentoring the next generation, Ray shares invaluable insights of building a successful tattoo career, whether you're an artist, shop owner, or just curious about the craft. This episode is packed with inspiration and actionable advice. Enjoy.
My name is Ray Wiggins. In the tattoo industry, I'm known as XRay Vizionz. It's kind of like my handle on every piece of social media and just, my online presence or whatnot. But I've been tattooing going on 16 years here. I own a studio in North Carolina, around about central North Carolina, Greensboro area. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. And I also guest spot or work part-time at a studio in Virginia Beach. But I don't own that studio, but I grew up in Virginia, so that's kind of like my stomping grounds. And I've been hounded a lot by friends and family to get out here. So for like maybe 2 years, I've been back and forth, doing the road thing in Virginia Beach. But it's only like 3.5 hours apart, so it's kind of cool. Recently here, I wrote a book called Make It Pop. And it's a book about getting into the tattoo industry and just, finding your way, navigating your way through getting an apprenticeship, educating yourself, and getting licensed and trying to start a successful career in the tattoo space. I thought it was a book that was like greatly needed. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much X-Ray in like a nutshell. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure we'll get into it a little more, but yeah, I've been tattooing for a while, won a couple awards, just tattoo stuff,
Got it, man. Yeah, I've looked at you. I mean, you do phenomenal work. It seems like mostly like black and gray realism stuff. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, cool.
I had some color sprinkled in my online portfolio over the years, but I've just phased it out because I enjoy black and gray, so one of my many mentors, basically said, if you want to do black and gray and that's your passion, if you take the color out of your online portfolio, people won't ask for it as much. So that's kind of my strategy. But I do color, but it's just like, on a case by case basis.
Got it. And definitely, yeah, that's if we're marketing for a shop or an artist and they only want to do a certain style, that's all that we put out there because you're going to get people that want that style.
So exactly.
Definitely works, man. So what got you into being a tattoo artist?
Well, it was never like a lifelong dream or anything like that. I was always an artist in some form or fashion. Like I used to doodle in school and get in trouble for that. I wanted to be like a rapper at some point, like most young people. I wanted to be some kind of musician, and then I wanted to be a producer. So when I was in high school, I ordered this big kit, like it's called a 4-track recorder, and I had like a little baby studio in my house, and I used to do that. I used to write poetry and stuff like that. So I've always been into writing. But drawing kind of just stuck with me over the years, and it's always been like an outlet. And then I had a friend get a hold of one of my drawing books at one point, and we were just kind of kicking it, and he was like, hey man, these are good, man. You ever thought about tattooing? Mind you, he's all sleeved up, and this was back before everybody was tattooed, you know what I mean? So I had one tattoo at the time, I think, I never really thought about it, and I was like, I don't know about that, man. And he was like, man, you should try it. So that ended up in me ordering a little kit back in the day, eBay, back before like, Amazon Prime and all that good stuff. So I ordered a little kit, tried it on myself a couple times. Then I made some business cards and I started like hopping around, going to people's homes and stuff like that. And probably about 6 months in, I was like, I think I can do this, man. Let me figure out how to actually do it as a profession, because I was here and there. I was like doing contract work, like, going to residential, like people's homes and installing floors or a ceiling fan or things like that. My dad's a carpenter and a contractor, so I kind of was just helping around with the business like that. And I had been in the military, but I was out by then. So, like I said, I just started a little uh, uh, home visit little business, and it turned into me finding an apprenticeship, and it was all downhill from there, man. I just got into it and it just stuck, and I never stopped. It's like the longest job I've ever kept. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I tried everything when I was younger, in my early 20s. Like I worked at Sherman Williams, like the normal young guy story, just hopping around. I went to college, I went to ODU, but that didn't work out too well. I was doing too much partying, and like, that wasn't the life for me, man. College wasn't my thing, but the tattooing stuck, man. I really loved it. You can connect with people, what job do you get to you don't have a uniform, you get to sit around, listen to music and whip up cool drawings, talk to people, meet new people. People that get tattoos are cool people. You're a cool dude. I talked to you before, we had conversations, and I just feel like people that have tattoos are cool people, man, for the most part.
For the most part.
But yeah, so it just stuck, man. I kind of fell into it. That was, to make a long story short, I fell into the craft, but I really love it.
Yeah, no, like I said, man, you're phenomenal. So when you were getting into it and learning, I mean, did you immediately look for a mentor, or like, what was that process? You mentioned you had a couple of mentors, and I assume that kind of helped with your style, stuff like that.
Yeah, so my mentors are a combination of people that don't even know they're my mentors. Like, online, I watch, like, I respect guys like Steve Butcher and Pooch, and just guys that are like versatile and stuff like that. My actual mentor that taught me how to tattoo in the studio kind of phased out halfway through, and he just got missing on me, and I had to kind of feel my way through the dark for the back half of my apprenticeship. But at the beginning, like when I made business cards, and I was and it was suggested to me by one of my best friends to start tattooing, I had no idea about the process or anything. So I'm always a person, like, I've always been like, if I want to try something, I'm just going to look it up, study it, try and fail. And if it sticks, it sticks. If it doesn't, move on to the next thing, man. So at the beginning, there wasn't a lot of education out there. So I didn't just straight out look for a mentor until I figured out how I'm like, I looked it up, get an apprenticeship, and blah, blah, blah. This is after I'm already tattooing a little bit. Then I found out the process. I was like, oh, so this is the right way to do it. So let me go about that, and try to be a professional about it. And like I said, that's another reason for me becoming an educator, because I feel like it's one of the only fields that there's not any real concrete path to becoming a tattoo artist. Everybody gets into it their own way. Education is becoming a little more prominent nowadays because we have the internet and people are opening schools and stuff, and I commend them for that. I really don't like the fact that a lot of, I want to say, old school tattoo artists or people that have been around the block a little bit, they're always bashing the guys that want to, open a school or try to help educate people. Every school's not a scam. You know what I mean? Everything's not like, oh, I'm trying to get over on people. Maybe, just maybe, they want to help the next generation of tattoo artists not have it as hard to try to figure out how to become a professional. You know what I mean? So, but they're like, yeah, those schools, man, it's bullshit and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's, subject. I mean, everybody has their own opinion, and you're allowed to do that. But at the same time, you got to think, if I want to be a carpenter, if I want to be a plumber, if I want to be an electrician, I can go to a trade school. So how come if I'm putting permanent ink on someone's skin, I can't go to a trade school and learn how to tattoo? You know what I mean? I just think it makes all the sense in the world. But so I wrote the book as almost like a supplement to those resources, those educational resources. You got the schools, you got YouTube University, of course, and then you got this guy right here. You know what I mean? Where you could go flip through it, like 200 and something pages of like, how do I become a tattoo artist? You know what I mean? It's not It's not like a little pamphlet or anything, and it's not anything in depth. It's not like what do you call that? It's not advanced or whatnot. It's just simply how to become an entry level tattoo artist. Just like any other career field, you're gonna start, you're gonna get in the door, and most of your learning is gonna come on the job. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's with any job, you know, except maybe a pilot. I think you need to know how to fly that plane before you take off. You know what I mean? Right. But yeah.
Got it. And yeah, I 100% agree. There's there's definitely a handful of schools that are just trying to churn people out and make money, but there's a ton of schools out there as well that, again, they're trying to teach people the right way to do it, the right way to get in the industry. Both.
Exactly, man.
Yeah. And and you're always going to have people that take advantage when something comes up. But I would agree. We've talked to school owners that they're just trying to help the next generation. It's not about making the money. It's about helping people become tattoo artists and do it.
Exactly, man. It's going to be some push and pull with anything. With the traditional apprenticeship, you get people just trying to get people in there and get over and have somebody answer the counter. Tend to the counter and I'm not going to say wash tubes, so people don't even do that anymore, but sweep floors. So any avenue you have to facilitate a business transaction, which kind of education is somewhat of a business transaction, there's going to be people trying to get over in it. So it doesn't matter how you package it. You know what I mean? It matters about the culture inside of the service or the business or whatnot. You know what I mean? Just like your business, man. I've seen a lot of companies that try to help tattoo studios, you know, get establish an online presence and market and stuff. And then I've watched yours. To me, you come off as a very sincere person. You really want your clients to, you know, win. When you kind of implement your services and you kind of, I've even seen you like give away the game for free, man. You just tell people how to do it. You told me like, you know, hey, bro, you can check this out. You know, if you're not ready to jump online with us, then you can try this and that strategy or whatnot. You know what I mean? And you're a very giving person. So at the end of the day, I say that to say it's just the culture inside your business, man. And like I said, I've seen other people that do what you do, and it's just like they want to get $300 a month or $500 a month, and it's like it doesn't feel very. It's kind of like sketchy, you know what I mean? But when you do it, you're very transparent with people. You're like, you know, it's going to take maybe a month or two. You're going to get into it. We have to establish, you know, some strategies for your particular tattoo studio, and then you're going to see some results. And you explain things to people. And I feel like just as long as you do that in anything regarding like the tattoo industry, even with school or when you have a client and they're getting a tattoo and it's their first tattoo, like you sit down and you explain the process to them and you're open with them and you kind of try to be transparent about everything and just give the best product you can give, then you're going to be good. You know what I mean? So 100%. I just feel like people want to prejudge. Another thing too is those tattoo artists that kind of are like shunning the new direction the industry is going online, whether it be online, whether it be, you know, paid ads, whether it be education and training, all those people that are like trying to stop forward progress. First of all, it's not going to happen because, you know, technology and everything is going to have its way with every industry that it comes in contact with. And second of all, I feel like, you know, that's just fear. That's fear of the future. That's fear of a new way of doing things. That's fear of getting phased out because you're not keeping up with the industry. So, you know, you got to either overcome that fear or all these things, these technologies and the new ways of doing business inside the tattoo industry are going to overtake you as a shop, as a tattoo artist, you know, in general.
Tell us a little bit about the book.
Yeah, so the book, like I said, it's called Make It Pop. The subtitle is Learn to Tattoo, Get Licensed, and Build a Successful Career Using the +1 Practice Method. And that's just like my proprietary method of learning to tattoo, where you just You start with, of course, your line work or dot work. That's a preference, but most people start with line work because that's pretty much something that is reflected in the whole of tattooing. I don't care what kind of style or work or genre you do, line work is going to be your base. But you just learn one thing at a time, and you stack your skills and you focus on that until you have a skill set of your line work, your shading, your filling, your packing, your coloring, and all that stuff. But the book is not necessarily most books or publications I've seen that talk about tattooing are like super heavy on the technical side of things. This gets into that, but there's 4 parts to this book. Part 1 is called The Power of Purpose. So that's POP. So that's why it's called The Power of Purpose. And it just, gets you, it talks about the mindset that you need when you're trying to become a tattoo artist, what your role is as a tattoo artist. And it's just like, kind of higher level thinking. Then the second part 2 is called pre-operational prep. So it's like basically your tools and supplies. What do you need to get started? You need to know the rules in your area, whatever state you live in. They all have different rules. Part 3 is called, let me go back in here. Part 3 is, +1 practice, of course. So, but as you can see, they all start with the letters POP, and that's why the book's called Make It Pop. Plus that's kind of like slang in the tattoo industry for kind of like make it stand out. You know what I mean? And then part 4 is called Progress Over Perfection. And it's basically just discussing how, you need to focus on getting better day by day. Don't try to do it all at once. Don't try to, don't always focus on being perfect about everything, because that's going to stop you from progressing. And that's in anything you do. If you're simply worrying about how perfect, if I were to worry about this book being perfect, it probably would have never came out. My editor even told me that. They were like, Ray, you got to get to the next layer of editing, and you got to, stop sending your illustrations back to the illustrator, like nitpicking because I'm an artist. So now every illustration, I'm like, that's supposed to have 9 needle tips and it has 10 or whatever. And he's like, you got to let little stuff slide. Nobody's counting the tips of your needles. Because as you can see, this is a full, this is the paperback. Let me show you the color, the hardback. It's available in paperback and hardcover, but I like to show people the hardcover because it has premium color. As you can see, this is the difference between the two. This one has more, it's just as vibrant, but the pages don't have like that gloss or whatever. I don't know if you can tell inside the camera or not, but this one has that little sheen to it or whatever. And this is more so of what, a library would order or something like that. Like I was talking to a librarian and she was like, we don't order paperbacks as much because, you rent the book out 10 times and it's going to get torn all to shreds or whatever. So that's why libraries normally have hardcover books in them. But, it's like full color diagrams, this is like how to stretch the skin or whatever. And like I said, it gets into a lot of technical aspects of things when you get into the +1 practice section. At the beginning, there's not as many pictures because it's more talking about, your purpose. And I have artwork. This guy named Jesse Yunker. I don't know if you have heard of Mohawk Jesse, but all the artists in this book that are featured in this book, I spoke with them. I didn't just like snatch their work off the internet or anything. I spoke with them. They sent me examples of their tattoos to feature, of their artwork to feature in the book or whatnot, excuse me. But there's a lot of artists in here whose work, there's a section that just shows different styles of tattooing. Pooch is one of the artists in here, man. I really look up to that guy. He's got work featured in the book. He's also got little sections where these artists give you pointers and just advice about the tattoo industry, man. And I say, if I was a tattoo artist, and the first thing I would do if I want to become a tattoo artist is grab his book, because like I said, it just lays out the whole pathway of how to become a licensed professional. And it's the one I wish that was available. A book that did help me when I first started was called, it was by Reinventing the Tattoo by Guy Aitchison. And that was like a real pivotal point in my career, like early on, because I read that book and it let me know that I didn't have to stick to one like line first, heavy, do darks and then lights, a shade like this or whatever. It lets you know that you could kind of be a little more free with the way you tattoo. But this book definitely is one for someone who's wants to learn how to become a tattoo artist. It's also a very good book to have if you are a tattoo artist that has apprentices, or you teach other tattoo artists how to tattoo, because it gives them some reference material to refer to. It gives them something to read, and where they don't have to necessarily just go through the apprenticeship and listen to you give them instruction and try to log everything down inside their memory bank, Plus, a lot of times when we have apprentices, they're like floating around the shop. They might be doing little tasks that we give them. They might be practicing on practice skin or whatnot, but there's a lot of downtime. So why not be reading a book about how to, sharpen your skills, or just has a lot of information pertaining to what you're trying to learn. So, you never went to a class in high school that didn't have a book along with the class. You know what I mean? So this is like that textbook that should supplement your training. I'm not making any claims that this book is supposed to replace an apprenticeship or replace an education. It's supposed to be a supplement to education. It's supposed to basically help reinforce whatever it is you're teaching your student. You know what I mean? So that's why, and I even say it in the book, man, I think that when you're trying to learn something, use every resource you can find in order to learn faster, progress faster, and just, different people, information sticks with different people in different ways. Some people, they learn better by reading. Some people learn better by watching videos. Some people learn better by just straight up jumping in and doing it. Tattooing is not very safe just to straight jump in and start, running your needle on people's skin. But, a lot of tattoo artists have done it. But so whatever you can do to get to that point where you're going to actually start trying, because the only way to effectively really learn how to tattoo is to tattoo. You know what I mean? And I think most people know that, but there's a safe way to do it. There's a less risky way to do it where you can practice confidently without jacking people up. And the thing about it is, and I talk about that in this book too, the thing about it is when you're an apprentice and you're learning the trade of tattooing, eventually you're going to have clientele, right? And this might resonate with you a little bit because I think your business is centered around helping studios get and retain clientele, right? So when you're learning to tattoo, and you're eventually going to start tattooing clients and customers of the studio that you're at. Now, during this process, you can be doing one of two things. You can be building clientele, or you can be running people off. If, of course you had to be transparent about the stage of your career that you're in, but people will still let you practice, or people will still let you, do tattoos on them early as an inexperienced artist if you're transparent about it and you're doing it in a safe way and you're doing tattoos that you can handle. Now, what I talk about in the book is that the way to do that, the way to practice on people and build your clientele. They're happy with that little bitty smiley face they got that you did. So now they're going to probably come back to you, and they're going to stick with you during your evolution within your tattoo career. I have people that I started tattooing a long time ago, and when I was doing names and I was doing little practice sessions and stuff, but being that I didn't jack them up, they came back to me, and now I'm doing like portraits and stuff like that, and they're still getting tattooed 12 years later. You know what I mean? But some of the people that I was tattooing at home, that before I got the proper training, I never seen them again because I mutilated their arm or whatnot. You know what I mean? I didn't send anybody to the hospital or anything like that, but the work wasn't good, and I was doing stuff maybe that I shouldn't have been doing that was, past my level of expertise, or that I just wasn't even ready for, a point blank period. And there's a way to not do that and to safely practice, retain your clientele, and build clientele at the same time. And that's what I talk about in the book, how to practice safely, how to do solid work as a beginner to where you're going to maintain the clientele that you do get. And there's some people, there's a genre of tattooing where people only get small little bangers, man, like minimalism, the tiny tattoo craze. They got that type of stuff. People get that type of stuff all the time. Everybody's not getting big sleeves and portraits. So there's a space for everyone in the tattoo industry. So people that are learning, there's a spot for you to practice little things, little matching tattoos. I call them novelty tattoos. There's space for you to learn. And those are the perfect type of tattoos to learn on. And that's, like I said, that's part of the book, is teaching you the avenues to grow your career in a safe way without growing your career in a safe way without, kind of dragging your own name through the mud, because your reputation is everything in the tattoo industry. And, another thing is, back when I started tattooing, I don't even think Instagram was in existence. They had Facebook, but it wasn't big yet. So you could practice and maybe do a slip here and there, and it didn't go straight up, get posted on the internet or whatnot. Now, if you do a tattoo on somebody and they really, really, really don't like it, they can really, really, really post it on there, tag you, and be like, hey, this guy sucks, don't go to him. Everything is amplified because of the internet. So with that being said, it's like, you want to probably try to carry yourself and do work in a way that it never comes back to bite you in the ass. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, that's the whole purpose for my book, is just to train people, do it in a safe way, do it the right way, and try to help people get better, faster, and maintain it's just a lot of moving parts to the book, but it's just all in the name of progress. And I think it's beneficial for everybody, especially those starting out their careers, to check that out, because I think it's a one of a kind. It's like the first book of its kind that just holistically talks about tattoo education and becoming a professional tattoo artist, man. So I'm really proud of the piece of work. I have another one coming out. I'm writing another book soon here. And it's going to be more leaning towards the career of a tattoo artist, and more like intermediate level. This is strictly for beginners. You know what I mean? Those coming into the game, or people that are trying to teach someone how to tattoo. It's going to some school libraries in my area in Virginia and North Carolina. I already know it's going to be in a couple of school libraries. So I just think that it's a good resource for learning. And from what I'm told, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's a well-written book. You know what I mean? Like I said, I used to write when I was in school. I got a lot of awards for writing in high school and in middle school. I used to write poetry and stuff. So I'm not like a stranger to writing. I'm not like a, J.K. Rowling or nothing like that. But, all that comes with the more you do something, man, get your reps in. So I just try to tap back into writing, man. And I think that's a secondary passion that I found besides visual art, man. So I think it's going to be a cool journey going forward from here.
Definitely, man. And there's a lot of things that you said that 100% resonate and that I totally agree with. Like, you can really judge how good of an artist you are and how good you make that experience by how many people actually come back. Like, if you're not having a lot of repeat customers, you fuck something up at some point, Dave.
Right.
In their
Exactly,
experience.
man. Exactly. And I think nowadays a lot of people are like, oh, it's getting slow and this and that. And it is, we're kind of like in a somewhat of a recession. The economy is this and that. But at the same time, if you've been doing something for an extended period of time, 10 years or better, let's say, you're going to have clientele that you've built up over the years that I've had people, I haven't seen them in 2, 3 years, 4 years. And when they do want a tattoo, they hit me up. And I'm like, hey, man, that's kind of like seeing an old friend. So I say that to say, if you're going to build up some type of repeat clientele, if you're good to people, you're nice to them, you do good work, you're going to, over time, you're going to build up a portfolio, not of art, but of clientele that's going to come back to you. So it's not going to get but so slow. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm going a whole month or something like that without that tattooing or whatnot. I barely ever go a week without tattooing unless it's by choice or I have an event to be at. Like I was just down in Florida at a conference and I had to speak or whatnot. But, like you said, if you can judge how you're doing at your profession by, your repeat clientele and things of that nature, man. I was actually studying that, looking at some of your content, man, because you introduced me to some things I didn't know about. I was watching some of the podcasts and you were speaking about lifetime customer value. And I know what it means. And I guess I'll use this as an opportunity to ask you, how do you calculate your lifetime customer value? Like, as far as if I have a client, is that something I calculate after by like one client at a time, or is that like a number that is an average of all my clients, or how does that work?
Yeah, so it's an average of all your clients. The best way to do it is if you go to your payment processor, whether using Square or Stripe or something like that, and you look back really as far as you can, and it's the amount of people or it's the amount of revenue that you have created divided by the amount of people, not the amount of tattoo you've done, but the amount of people, and that will give you. Again, it's an average. Obviously you're getting new clients all the time that are coming back, but it'll start to give you a picture of how much you're going to make on average, when you get a new client. Now, obviously some people are going to get their whole back done. Some people are going to come get a little banger. You're never going to see them again, but you get an average out of it. And that's a good place to start with, knowing what you can spend on marketing and stuff to acquire new people.
All right. See, man, that is like super awesome to like know things like that, man. I feel like that's an advantage. The newer people like coming into the game, like the younger artists and people that are new. First of all, back when we started, it was kind of harder to calculate that. You could do it because a lot of people it took me a while to even like get to where I was collecting people's information. You know what I mean? We were on paper for a very long time. I think my studio now, we're still, the business model we run is like, we do booth. So like some of the artists will keep up with their client base or whatnot. But all I say is like now, the way things are set up, you can kind of keep track of each client, almost every single tattoo you do. I was telling my girl one time, I was like, man, I wish that I could like count every single tattoo I've ever done and know like, okay, I've done 10,000 tattoos or 15,000 or something like that. But now it's so easy to document the process and document everything. You know what I mean? From the pictures to the to your point of sale or whatnot, keeping people's information and stuff like that in your database at your studio. And it's just like if if people come in and they don't take advantage of that, it's like a shame now, man, and it helps you with your business. It helps you to kind of figure out, your pricing and all that good stuff like that. But I think from here, like going forward, it's just like, you can kind of go through an evolution of your business self. Like as a tattoo artist and the studio owner, it's like I see these different things that will help to enhance my business, especially when things get a little bit rougher for a shop. You want to go and kind of double down on some things that are working, and you want to kind of implement some things that you may not have been doing in the past that are going to help you retain clients and help you to streamline your business so that it's more effective business wise. And I think that's the thing about a lot of artists. And that's what I want to go into on the next book too, man. It's like, shoot, I might interview you, man, to help me out, man. I want to go into more of how to, run things to where you're using your business brain just as much as you're using your artist brain. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with this industry and tattoo artists. Sometimes people that are creatives and their artists aren't as business savvy as they could be. You know what I mean? And, I feel like it's beneficial, even if you're having a studio, to have one person that may be a tattoo artist, like if you're a co-owner or something like that, and then have somebody that doesn't even tattoo, man. You know what I mean? And that's a whole another lane of your tattoo studio is the business. Emailing people, that's something we don't do at my studio. We probably should be working on is, when the holidays come, go, hey man, we got like little gift cards here. I mean, discounts, or we got a Black Friday coupon, or just an email blast out to all your clients to where they're like, oh, and they think about a tattoo. A tattoo is a pretty cool gift to give somebody for Christmas. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. That's pretty dope. I'd like that. Somebody give me a little gift card, $500 towards my next tattoo. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just little things like that to where, it just keeps you top of mind to your clientele or whatnot. But I kind of got off subject on a tangent, man. But like I said, that's where I kind of tap into the Inklink podcast all the time, because you're always, giving these nuggets about how to do things like that, man. And like I said, it comes from a super sincere place, man. So, it's like the correct information, you know what I mean? But I really dig that, man. And I think us as tattoo artists need to be educated more in that direction of the industry. Sometimes it feels kind of, I don't want to say like, it feels kind of, when you're doing art, it just don't feel right. Sometimes it'd be like salesy and stuff like that, but there's ways to do it where you're not necessarily trying to sell people things or being like slimy or anything like that. You're just staying in the thought process of your clients or whatnot. So I'd love to dig into that one day, man. We get time to talk or whatnot, because that's where I want to brush up on. And my expertise is the business side of things. And like I said, I'll be talking about that more on the next book. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I thank you too, man, for what you do. You're an educator, man. You're a big time educator. You're not just a marketer, because I see you telling people, teaching people and explaining to people how these certain things can help elevate their business and keep more money in their pocket and not even be wasteful, because you're wasting clients, and you're wasting when you're not keeping up with your clients and you tattoo someone and you don't remind them about your business. It's almost like wasting a client, because then they go get a tattoo somewhere else, or they forget, where did I go get that last tattoo? And they kind of just float off into space, and you're just, losing a big time opportunity, I think, because people want to go back to the same tattoo artist for the most part. You know what I mean? So like I said, you're an educator too, man. I'm gonna be looking for your book coming out soon.
I appreciate it, man. And yeah, there's, and I'll let you go here in about 5 minutes. I know I've had you for about an hour.
That's all good.
We talk to more and more shop owners that don't come from the actual tattoo industry background. They come from a business background and they run their shop like a business. And it's so effective because most, like you go into any other industry, HVAC, plumbing, cell phones, whatever, there's certain things that every company does because they work so well. It's a lot of stuff that tattoo shops don't do. So just getting like a basic 101 of business, how to run a business, client experience, continuously communicating with them, puts you so far ahead of 98% of other shops.
Right. And I definitely can see that, man, because I see some studios and they're not even that old, man. They might have been open for 3-4 years and they're booming. They're booming. And that's probably one of like an example of what you're talking about, to where the person just knows business. They like art. Tattooing seems like a good lane to go into, and you can really make it. It's already something cool. Like, people like it. They gravitate to it. Tattoos sell themselves. So if you put some effort towards running that business smoothly, man. And like I said, I'm definitely gonna we'll be talking here soon, because I definitely want to get it to it, because my studio has we got 6 artists down there in Carolina, and I feel like we can put some fire to some fuel to the fire. We can add some fuel to the fire and just make it what it should be, man. It's a good studio. We've been open like 11, maybe 12 years. So clearly, we've stood the test of time, but I think that we can make some tweaks just to make the business kind of keep up with the new kids on the block, and not even keep up with them, but not get surpassed by, because there's studios opening up around us. We've seen them. You know what I mean? We've actually, since we've been open, we've seen a lot of studios in my city open up, close, because people think it's easier than what it really is. But the fact that we're still here kind of is a testament. But at the same time, you still gotta compete. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And like I said, it's been that era where people are just opening up studios. So I kind of want to get the ball rolling, so you don't get surpassed by somebody that hasn't even been in the industry a fraction of the time that we have. That would be a shame. You know what I mean?
100%, man. I can tell you the last year we've gotten more and more calls and talked to more and more shop owners that have been around 10, 20, 30 years. And it's because, up until 5-10 years ago, like, all you needed was a stellar reputation and to be around for a long time. And it's changed a ton, man. It's changed a ton. Right. Where can people find you, and where can people find the book?
So you can find me. I normally like to hang out on Instagram at XRay Vizionz. That's XRay Vizionz. So it's 2 Z's instead of S's. People always misspell it. TikTok, same thing, XRay Vizionz. So basically like this, without any spaces. Oh, over here. So you can find me on TikTok, Facebook. I'm starting a YouTube channel shortly here. You can find this book on Amazon. Just look up Make It Pop by Ray Wiggins. And the hardcover is $59.99, and the paperback is $39.99. So if you got a couple extra dollars and you want to invest in the one that's, it's tank, it's going to last, grab this. If, you're a little strapped and you just, something a little more affordable, grab the paperback. They're both, same information. It's chock full of nuggets and pure information on how to become a tattoo artist in 2024, 2025. So the first thing I would do if I want to become a tattoo artist is go grab this book, Make It Pop by Ray Wiggins. And like I said, be looking out for the YouTube. You guys continue to watch Ink Link Marketing. Jesse's a good dude, man, and everything he says is from the heart, man. He's just trying to help your studio be all it can be. You know what I mean? So I'll be talking to you, Jesse, and I appreciate you having me on the podcast, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. You take it easy. Have a good evening.